Most people try to convince someone to come back by being emotional, by begging, by over-explaining, and that's exactly why it never works. People don't come back because you cry. They come back when something you say hits them so deep, it forces them to look at themselves. And that's where Dark Stoicism comes in. Not as a weapon of silence, but as a way of speaking truth so calmly. It leaves them haunted. Today, my friends, you'll learn what to say, just once, to make them want you again, crave you, even feel stupid forever walking away. See, the biggest mistake we make is thinking that people return because they miss our love. No, folks, they return when your words haunt their silence, when your calmness echoes louder than their excuses. Most people speak from their wounds, but a Stoic speaks from his wisdom. And that's where the shift begins, when you speak not to convince them, but to awaken them, when your sentence is not a request, but a realization. They don't need your explanations, they need your energy to change, and nothing changes a person more than being hit by truth at a time they were hiding from it. You don't need to scream, you don't need to cry, you need to be like a mirror in a dark room, quiet, still, but when the light hits, it shows everything. That's what your words should do. Reflect their truth so clearly, so painfully, that they cannot run from it. Say it once, say it calmly, and then step back. Because when you speak from power, you don't need to repeat yourself. Let your clarity shake their fantasy. Let your honesty destroy their illusions. My friends, when you say something born from truth, without anger, without fear, without attachment, you become unforgettable. People forget noise, but they remember calm impact. Think about it. A lion doesn't chase, it watches, and when it moves, it only moves once. That's you now. Not desperate, not reactive, but grounded. You are no longer a prisoner of their validation. You are a master of your presence. And when you drop that one sentence, crafted with precision and purpose, it'll replay in their mind over and over again. And while they try to sleep, your words will be louder than their comfort. That's not manipulation. That's karma spoken in a sentence. Here's the truth. If they walked away from you, they never really saw you, and your job is not to remind them of your worth. It's to become someone so rooted in self-respect that your very presence becomes a loss. You are no longer asking to be seen. You are simply showing what they missed. Because once you realize your value, your voice becomes a lighthouse, and even those who sailed away blind will eventually see the glow and regret every mile of distance. You are not here to win them back. You are here to remind yourself who you are, and when that memory becomes strong, the rest will follow. Say what must be said. Say it once. Say it with heart, but never with need. And then let it do the work. Because when truth walks in, lies have no room to breathe. So to all of you out there, repeat this and write it in the comments. I speak from strength. That's your reminder. That's your armor. And if this message hit your soul today, press the like button, subscribe for more, and stay with me. We're just getting started. Number 1. Why begging never works, and saying this does. When you beg to be loved, you teach them to treat you like a beggar. Let that sit for a moment, my friends. See, the reason most of you are stuck in emotional hell right now is not because they left. It's because you made yourself so easy to leave. You turned yourself into a doormat with a smile. You opened your chest, let them walk in with muddy shoes, and then cried when they didn't clean up. You think your love will bring them back, but all your begging does is give them more power. You cry, they relax. You chase, they lean back. You explain, they stop listening. Why? Because deep down, they know you're not going anywhere. And that's the death of attraction, not absence, not silence. but predictability wrapped in desperation. Let me ask you this. Why do you beg someone who threw you away like trash? Why do you offer your heart on a plate to someone who already showed they'd rather starve than sit at your table? You're not convincing them to love you. You're training them to expect you at your lowest. Every text you send, every late-night "I miss you" message, every apology you whisper for things that weren't even your fault, it's all programming. Programming them to see you as weak, as desperate, as less. I know what you're thinking. But what if they come back? But what if I say nothing and they move on? But I don't want to lose them forever. Let me answer those fears right now. If they only come back because you begged, you never had them. You had their convenience, you had their boredom, you had their control, but never their respect. And let me tell you, respect is the real glue in any relationship. Love without respect, that's not love. That's dependency. That's emotional slavery. And you were never built to be a slave. Begging doesn't make them stay. It makes them feel superior. It inflates their ego. And a person high on ego can never see your value. Why? Because your begging makes them believe you have none. You're afraid to lose them, but have you looked in the mirror lately? You already lost yourself. You wake up thinking of them. You cry yourself to sleep over them. You cancel your own healing just to track their Instagram stories like it's a religion. They moved on. You paused your entire life. And now you want to beg? For what? For someone who discarded you like an old coat once winter ended? Listen, my friend. People do not come back because you break down. They come back when something inside them breaks, when the image of you they thought they knew no longer exists, when you stop sounding desperate and start sounding detached, but powerful, when you drop that one calm, cutting sentence that makes them feel the weight of what they gave up. That's what changes them. Not your crying, not your explanations. Just a dose of sharp truth spoken with unshakable peace. Think of it like this. A diamond doesn't beg to be picked up. Trash does. And I hate to say it, but many of you have lowered your worth so badly you don't even walk like a diamond anymore. You walk like trash that's still trying to smell sweet. You say, "I just want closure." No. What you want is their permission to believe you're still worthy. And until you stop seeking that from them, you'll never feel it within you. Let me be harsh with love for a moment. You forgot who you are, you forgot what you bring to the table, and you let their rejection define your reflection. But that ends today, right now. Because the only way they'll ever see you differently is if you become someone they no longer feel entitled to. You don't do that by crying. You do that by growing. You don't get them back by chasing. You get them back by rising. Now hear me, the sentence that changes everything is not long. It's not emotional. It's not a speech. It's simple. It's strong. It's calm. You say it once. No follow-up. No begging. No please reply. Just this. I see now what I refused to accept before. I deserve more, and I'm not asking anymore. That's it. Say it, mean it, walk away, and let them feel it. Because the truth is, that one sentence, it'll echo louder than 1,000 apologies. It flips the mirror on them. It shows them you're not the person who cried for love anymore. You're the person who commands it, not with rage, not with manipulation, but with stillness, clarity, and deep internal peace. Will it hurt to let go of the hope? Yes. Will it be scary to walk away from the person you thought you'd build a life with? Absolutely. But let me tell you what's worse, staying trapped in a version of yourself where your entire worth depends on whether they text you back. That's not life. That's not strength. That's survival mode. You're done surviving. It's time to lead yourself. You're not broken. You're awakening. You're not weak. You just forgot how strong you truly are. You are not a second option. You're the missed opportunity they'll replay for years, but only if you stop begging and start becoming. So say it with me and write it in the comments. I deserve more. I'm not asking anymore. That's your truth now. That's your power. And if this message shook your chest, hit the like button, subscribe, and stay with me, because we're just getting started. Number 2. The secret behind powerful phrases that hit the soul. Words are spells. Speak the truth the right way, and it'll haunt their silence forever. Let's talk, my friends. You think it takes drama to make someone feel your absence. You think you need long paragraphs, sad songs, emotional breakdowns, or endless explanations. But here's the truth. Those things don't pierce the soul. They just entertain the ego. Real change, real reflection, real regret. That doesn't come from noise. It comes from a sentence so calm, so precise, so powerful. It echoes inside their mind when the world gets quiet. The most powerful phrases are not loud, they're loaded. They don't come from desperation, they come from clarity, from someone who knows who they are, from someone who's done trying to convince people to see their worth. You don't say these lines to win them back. You say them to remind them what they lost. You drop it once, no follow-up, no question marks, no "do you still care?" Nonsense. Just a truth bomb wrapped in peace. You see, folks, when you say something real, with no shakiness in your tone, with no need in your voice, it creates a discomfort in them, a disruption, a glitch in their comfort zone. Why? Because most people are never prepared to hear you not needing them anymore. They're used to seeing you cry, chase, or stay stuck. But when you say something that comes from growth, from power, it messes with their mental software. Now, they start comparing. They start asking themselves questions they weren't ready for. Did I really underestimate them? What if they actually moved on? Wait, what if someone else is getting this version of them now? That's where the damage begins. That's where the rewiring starts. And that one line, that calm sentence you delivered like it was nothing, suddenly becomes everything. It replays in their head like a song they didn't want to love, but can't stop humming. In the shower, on a random Thursday night, on a date with someone new. They smile, but your words pull them back. Because what you said didn't just pass through their ears, it cracked their pride. And now, every time they try to replace you, that sentence gets louder. Every time they think of reaching out, it stings, because your words didn't just communicate, they exposed. That's the art here. That's what Dark Stoicism teaches. You don't beg, you don't overtalk, you don't try to convince, you just reveal. And when the truth is revealed in the right tone, it haunts more than any argument ever could. Don't drop paragraphs, drop impact. Don't drop poems. Drop a punchline of purpose. Something like, you lost someone who only wanted to understand you. Now you'll spend years trying to be understood. Simple, calm, no anger, but devastating. Because here's the catch, people remember how you made them feel, and when your words make them feel exposed, vulnerable, shaken, or even just small for a moment, that becomes an emotional tattoo. And you didn't need to yell, you didn't need closure, you didn't even need to be seen, you just needed to say it right, once. Stop trying to explain your worth. Start embodying it in every word you speak, and speak like someone who knows. The ones who walked away will be the ones looking back. So let's make it real. Drop it in the comments below. My words carry weight. Say it, believe it, stand by it. And if this just lit something up inside you, press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me. The storm has just begun. Number 3. Say this line if they left you thinking you'd wait forever. They thought you'd stay stuck in the chapter they left you in, but you rewrote the whole book. Let's open their eyes now, my friends. There comes a moment in every story where the villain believes the hero will never rise, that they've won, that you're frozen in time, still crying, still waiting, still holding on to memories they've already replaced. That was their fantasy. That was their comfort. They told themselves, they'll never move on, they'll always want me, and they walked away with that ego inflated like a balloon in the wind. But what they didn't see coming was you evolving in silence. They thought they left you in pieces, but while they were partying, playing games and jumping into temporary arms, you were rebuilding, brick by brick, thought by thought, day by painful day. You turned heartbreak into hunger and pain into power. And now they're the one trailing behind. But here's the part that stings. You no longer see them the way you used to. The illusion broke. The spell is gone. That's why this line, this one sentence, hits so hard. You left thinking I'd never change. I did. And now I don't see you the same. It's not loud. It's not emotional. It's not dramatic. It's just truth. Cold, calm, final. And when they hear it, or read it, or feel it between the lines of your energy, it slices through their delusion, because that sentence tells them everything they didn't want to hear. That you grew, that you changed, that you woke up. It kills their control. It ends the fantasy where they thought you'd always be waiting in some emotional prison, holding on to hope. They imagined you checking their posts, watching their life, regretting every moment without them. But now, you barely blink when their name pops up. You scroll past their updates like a stranger. You no longer wonder, what if? You know exactly what it was, and more importantly, you know what it wasn't. Let's be real here. Growth is scary, not just for you, but for them. Because when you grow, they have to face a new truth. They don't deserve the version of you that exists now, and that burns, that shifts the power, that makes them start thinking, did I misjudge them? Did I mess this up? Wait, do they not even care anymore? That's how you flip the mirror. That's how you break the cycle. You see, folks, when someone leaves, they usually lock in the image of you as broken, desperate, dependent. That's how they justify their decision. That's how they sleep at night. But when you show up evolved, indifferent, peaceful, they get confused. They don't know how to categorize you anymore. You no longer fit in their story. You're not the one chasing. You're not the one waiting. You're the one watching from above, not out of arrogance, but from elevation. This is your time now, not to go back, not to explain, but to shine with so much inner peace that their biggest regret becomes crystal clear. Let that line be the turning point. You left thinking I'd never change. I did, and now I don't see you the same. That's not bitterness. That's maturity. That's a funeral for the fantasy they created in their head. And you just gave it a tombstone. So say it out loud. Say it in your heart. And write it in the comments below. I changed. I see clearly now. That's your power. That's your freedom. If you felt that in your soul today, hit the like button, subscribe, and stay with me, because this journey is only going up from here. Number 4. Say this line if they cheated, lied, or took you for granted. When someone breaks your trust, they don't lose you. They lose access to the version of you that was never coming back. Let's talk about betrayal, my friends. Being lied to, cheated on, or taken for granted isn't just about what they did. It's about what they killed. They didn't just betray a relationship. They buried a version of you. A version that was open, soft, loyal, forgiving. A version that gave love without walls, believed without second thoughts, and stayed even when it hurt. That version? Gone. And what stands in its place now is someone who's learned, someone who's awake. People think they can break you, then return like nothing happened, like you're a paused movie waiting for them to press play again. They want the same softness, the same heart, the same blind faith. But here's the truth. When someone violates your trust, they don't just betray the moment. They assassinate the version of you that made them feel safe. And once that version dies, it doesn't resurrect. Not for them. Not ever. That's why this sentence hits like a lightning bolt. You didn't lose me. You lost the version of me that still trusted you. Say it once. Say it with clarity and walk away, because that sentence tells them the one thing they never expected to hear, that even if you're still standing in front of them, you're not the same person anymore. The eyes are colder. The heart is guarded. The smile doesn't stretch the same way. And the soul? It's not available for rent anymore. You see, folks, people take advantage of what they think will stay no matter what. They think because you forgave once, you'll forgive forever. They think because you loved them deeply, you'll accept anything. That's how betrayal breeds, through comfort and assumption. But when you change the script, when you stop reacting emotionally, when you don't fight, when you don't explain, and instead say a line like this with pure control, that's when the regret begins. Not yours, theirs. They won't just miss you, they'll miss the you that existed before they messed it all up, the one who answered every call, the one who trusted their words, the one who defended them when others questioned their loyalty. But now, that version is gone. And here's the kicker. No matter how hard they try, they will never meet that version of you again. That's the price of betrayal, and it's the one debt they can never repay. Let's get even deeper, because I know some of you are still wondering, but what if they're really sorry? What if they come back changed? What if I still love them? Let me ask you this instead. What about you? What about the nights you cried yourself to sleep? What about the anxiety you felt every time your phone buzzed, wondering if it was another lie? What about the version of you that waited for them to become someone they promised they already were? You gave them the realest parts of you, and they disrespected it like it was nothing. And now you want to negotiate with your own dignity? My friend, they lost something irreplaceable the day they played with your trust. It wasn't just about cheating or lying. It was about devaluing someone who gave everything with pure intentions. And when that version of you disappears, it becomes a ghost they'll spend years chasing in every new face they meet. That's why you don't need closure. You are the closure. That line you speak is the door slamming shut, not in anger, but in finality. And that calm rejection, that's louder than any scream. So remember this. You're not bitter, you're better. You didn't lose yourself. You outgrew the lie. You walked through the fire and came out untouched. Let them deal with the ashes. Let them face the silence, because what they broke cannot be rebuilt. Not with apologies, not with promises, not with fake remorse. Say it loud. Say it with your chest, and write it in the comments. You lost the version of me that trusted you. That's your closure. That's your reminder. If this message spoke truth to your soul, hit the like button, subscribe, and stay with me. The healing has already begun. Number 5. Say this line if you've leveled up and want them to realize it. The greatest revenge is letting them watch someone else cherish the version of you they never understood. Let's speak facts today, my friends. See, the truth is, you've grown, you've leveled up, and they didn't even notice. While they were out there entertaining mediocrity, chasing distractions, and thinking you'd stay the same forever, You were transforming. You were outgrowing the nonsense, healing the wounds, rebuilding the walls they broke. And now you're a different breed. Wiser, sharper, colder, but stronger. And most importantly, not available to those who didn't see your worth when it was free. But here's what hurts them the most. You didn't announce it. You didn't post a whole speech. You didn't scream, "Look at me now." You just moved different. Quiet glow-ups are the most dangerous ones, because by the time they realize you've changed, they're already replaced. By the time they feel your absence, someone else is enjoying your presence. And that realization, that quiet stab of regret, it burns deeper than any insult you could have thrown. This is the line that hits that nerve directly. Someone else is going to get the version of me you couldn't recognize. Say it, calm, unbothered. No malice, just truth. It's not revenge, it's revelation. Because what you're telling them in that sentence is simple. I didn't get better for you. I got better without you, and now you don't qualify for this new version. And that, my friends, is a brutal truth to face, because you're not just saying you've changed, you're letting them know they're no longer the standard. They had front row seats and fell asleep during the performance. Now they're outside the venue, watching someone else take the seat they fumbled. People always come back when the version of you they once rejected becomes the version everyone else wants. And that's what they fear. They fear seeing you laugh with someone else. They fear watching your glow, your confidence, your peace, and realizing they played games with the very thing others are now praying to have. Let's break it down even further. They didn't see your value, not because it wasn't there, but because they lacked the vision. And when someone doesn't have the eyes to recognize rare, they always choose average. That's not your loss. That's their permanent lesson. So this line, it doesn't beg, it doesn't argue, it doesn't try to make them feel guilty. It just forces them to face a fact. You are no longer theirs to revisit. They had the chance. They had your softness, your patience, your love. They misread it as weakness. But now, someone else will read it as treasure. And that shift, that fear of being permanently replaced by someone who sees what they didn't trees is what is what eats them alive. You don't need to prove anything. Your evolution speaks for itself. Your energy has changed, your standards have changed, and most importantly, your access has changed. The door they used to walk through, sealed. The seat they used to hold, reserved for someone who doesn't need to be reminded of your worth. Let me say it straight. If they didn't clap for your growth, they don't deserve to stand near your success. If they didn't water you when you were healing, they don't get to enjoy the garden you've become. So walk with that confidence. Say what needs to be said once, then keep rising. Don't look back. Let them sit with the weight of knowing they could have had you, but they didn't have the depth to hold you. Drop the truth in the comments and own it. I outgrew what couldn't see me. That's your mantra. That's your fire. If this hit your soul, press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me, because the version of you they missed, it's just getting started. Number 6. How these words make them rethink everything. Sometimes the scariest thing you can do to someone is become the person who no longer needs them. Let's break it down, my friends. When you speak from anger, they feel attacked. When you beg, they feel powerful. But when you speak from pure, sharp clarity, no emotion, no need, no chase, they feel something they're not used to feeling from you: uncertainty. And that, right there, is what flips their entire internal system. That one calm sentence you dropped. It removes emotional security. It tells them, I'm no longer yours. I'm no longer stuck. And I don't need to explain that twice. You used to be predictable. You used to be available. You used to be emotional. And let's be honest, they liked that. They liked knowing you were still soft for them. They liked knowing they could disappear for weeks and you'd still respond in minutes. They liked that even if they betrayed you, you'd still give them the benefit of the doubt. But now your words don't come with apologies. Now your eyes don't hold the same warmth. Now your voice doesn't shake when you speak. Now you're different, and they feel it. When you drop a line like, "You didn't lose me, you lost the version of me that trusted you," or "Someone else is going to get the version of me you couldn't recognize," what you're doing is triggering a psychological chain reaction. At first, they try to brush it off. They pretend it doesn't bother them. They might even mock it. But then silence creeps in. Nights get quieter. Their new distractions feel emptier. And your words, they echo, not because they were loud, but because they were true. Truth doesn't need volume. It needs timing. Now they start to analyze. Did I really lose them? Who are they talking to now? Are they already over me? Did I matter at all to them? And just like that, your calmness becomes their chaos. Because when someone can no longer predict your reactions, they lose control over your narrative. You become a mystery again. You become valuable again. Not because you begged to be, but because you walked away with your soul intact. They picture you with someone else now, someone who listens, someone who laughs with you the way they used to, someone who doesn't lie, cheat, play games, and suddenly your peace becomes their punishment, your growth becomes their grief. That's the beauty of a powerful sentence. It doesn't just end a conversation, it starts a storm in their mind. And here's what you need to remember. You didn't say those things to manipulate. You said them because they were real. And when someone realizes they lost someone who was rare, loyal, and evolving, not because of drama, but because of their own blindness, that's when they spiral. Not out of ego, out of realization. Realization that they gambled your love and lost it to their own ego. Now they watch your stories from burner accounts. Now they overanalyze your captions. Now they listen to the songs you post, wondering if they're about them. That's the mind of someone haunted by a version of you they'll never touch again. Because the moment you stopped needing their attention, you became the most powerful person in the dynamic. They don't come back because you shouted. They come back because your calmness felt louder than anything they ever heard. They don't regret leaving when you chase them. They regret it when you outgrow them. That's the truth. That's how it works. So hold your ground. Let your silence sharpen your words. Let your energy do the talking, because when your peace disturbs their chaos, you win. Every time. Drop this in the comments and make it your truth. I am their lesson. That's it. That's the mantra. If this cracked open your chest today, press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me, because your comeback isn't just personal, it's poetic. Number 7. Conclusion. Say it, walk away, and let the words work. Say it once. Say it right, then let the silence do what begging never could. Let's wrap this up the right way, my friends. The power of Dark Stoicism is not about going quiet forever. It's about surgical precision, speaking not from emotion, but from clarity, not from need, but from knowledge. You don't have to scream to be heard. You just have to be undeniably real in the moment that matters most. One line, one truth, one calm delivery. That's all it takes. Then you walk away, not because you're cold, but because you're done performing for people who couldn't recognize your value when it was standing right in front of them. They won't react right away. Don't look for it. Don't wait for it. Because the most dangerous impact isn't instant. It's delayed. Like a seed planted in their ego, your words sit there, buried under pride, denial, and distraction. But slowly, day by day, hour by hour, that seed grows, and they start to feel it. in the silence, in the stillness, in the moments no one else is around. That's when your words bloom into regret, into questions, into flashbacks they can't shake. They'll start to replay everything, not the fights, not the breakup, but you, the way you loved, the way you stood by them, the way you smiled, the way you stayed longer than you should have, and now the way you're gone. Not with bitterness, not with revenge, just with peace. And that's what haunts them, that you found peace without them, that your final words didn't plead, they cut, not to hurt them, but to free yourself. That's when they'll start reaching, that's when the messages come, the subtle likes, the stories viewed from fake accounts, the random texts like, "Hey, just checking in." But by then, my friend, the shift has already happened. You don't want them back. You've evolved past the need to be seen by people who had their chance and wasted it. You're not here to re-explain your worth. You're here to protect it. And anyone who made you question it once doesn't deserve to witness it now. So say it. Say that line. Say it once. No extra paragraphs. No, maybe I was too harsh. No turning back. Say it like a mirror, clear, cold, reflective. Then walk away and don't look back to see if it worked. Because it always does. Not instantly, but slowly, deeply. And when it hits hard. You didn't lose them. They lost the version of you that still saw them as worth fighting for. Now, you fight for yourself. You speak for yourself. You live for yourself. And from now on, your words will never again be used to beg. They'll be used to build boundaries, show growth, and leave legacies. So say it with your chest, then say nothing else. You're not just speaking anymore, you're making history in their mind. Drop this in the comments and claim it loud. I speak once, and they feel it forever. That's your standard now. That's your edge. If this script lit something deep inside you, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay with me, because the strongest version of you is just beginning to speak.